Police fire tear gas and use water cannon against protesters in Georgia who are angry over a foreign agents bill. 50,000 people protest in central Athens, angry over a lack of answers on how Greece's worst train disaster happened. People take to the streets in France for a second consecutive day of protests against pension reform proposals, spurred on by International Women's Day. People demonstrate across the world against gender inequality on International Women's Day. The UN chief heads to Kyiv in the hope of extending Ukraine's grain deal, allowing it to export its agricultural produce. Thousands of protesters took to the streets for a second consecutive night in Georgia's capital, Tbilisi. They are angry over a foreign agents bill, which critics worry will clamp down on independent media and NGOs. For many in the country, it's a sign that Georgia is veering away from a Western path, as Russia has a similar law.
The slogan of the march is no to total control, no to Russian law, and they are protesting along with others who express their disappointment and disagreement with Georgian government.
Authorities have used water cannon and tear gas against crowds assembled outside the Georgian parliament. Planned debate has been suspended on Thursday due to the disturbances. The Georgian president has supported the demonstrators and promised to veto the initiative. However, MPs could overcome it if enough vote for the bill. In response, the EU's Foreign Affairs Chief Josep Borrell said that the adoption of such a bill would hinder Georgia's European integration. Trade unions and others have organised protest rallies in Athens over last week's train crash, which killed 57 people. Several groups took part in a 24-hour strike, with 50,000 gathering in the capital to vent their frustration.
Το πρώτο που μου ήρθε είναι η θλίψη, αλλά μετά νιώσα και οργή, γιατί αυτό έγκλημα ήταν προδιαγραμμένο, οι εργαζόμενοι το φωνάζανε τόσο καιρό.
Εμείς μεγαλώνουμε τα παιδιά μας για να χαρούν τη ζωή. Δεν τα μεγαλώνουμε για να τα δούμε νεκρά, για να βγάζουν κέρδη οι εταιρείες.
Τα δάκρυα στέρεψαν και έγιναν οργή. Το έγκλημα αυτό δεν θα ξεχαστεί. Αυτή η φράση είναι στον πυρήνα της τεράστιας κινητοποίησης στο κέντρο της Αθήνας για την τραγωδία στα Τέμπη. Μαθητές, φοιτητές, γονείς, εργαζόμενοι και άνθρωποι όλων των ηλικιών απαιτούν το αυτονόητο από την ελληνική πολιτεία, να διασφαλιστεί η σωματική τους ακεραιότητα.
Protesters clashed with the police in central Athens, with the authorities responding with tear gas. Anger is still high as families and the wider public demand answers as to why this accident happened.
Να ζητήσω συγγνώμη εκ μέρους της κυβέρνησης και μου προσωπικά απέναντι στις οικογένειες των θυμάτων και απέναντι σε όλους τους Έλληνες πολίτες. Η επανεκκίνηση και ως ότου ολοκληρωθεί το σύστημα τεχνολογικής αναβάθμισης θα γίνει μόνον υπό όρους απόλυτης ασφάλειας.
French unions are keeping up the pressure on the streets against the government's pension reform to raise the minimum retirement age from 62 to 64. Wednesday is International Women's Rights Day. It's brought many out in protest over a host of issues, with the leader of the hard-left France Unbowed party arguing that women will be disproportionately affected by the proposed pension reform.
Nous sommes à nouveau à un moment où la journée du 8 mars correspond à une lutte d'ensemble de notre peuple. Le droit à la retraite et le refus de la retraite à 64 ans, sachant que celles qui vont payer le plus cher cette réforme, ce sont les femmes.
In Paris, students have blocked the entrance gates of the prestigious University of Political Sciences.
On sait que les femmes aujourd'hui sont beaucoup plus concernées par des carrières hachées et que de ce fait, elles seront d'autant plus discriminées par cette réforme parce qu'elle défavorise les carrières hachées. Et on a même un ministre qui l'a reconnu. Même le gouvernement a acté le fait que c'était pénalisant pour les femmes. Donc c'est particulièrement important de le mettre en exergue aujourd'hui.
For the second time now, the strike has gravely affected rail traffic. In Paris, only 1 out of every 3 domestic trains has left the Gare de Lyon terminus station. All across the world, people have been taking to the streets as part of International Women's Day, like here in Nice. Feminicide, domestic violence and gender inequality were the main topics of protests in Europe. While the continent is considered to be one of the most advanced regions for gender rights, inequalities still remain, notably in the east and south of the continent. In Kosovo, protesters criticised the country's police system, the prosecutor's office and the courts, while in Sarajevo, demonstrators demanded higher wages for women. In Syria and Turkey, marchers commemorated the victims of last month's deadly earthquakes, with women being particularly vulnerable after losing their livelihoods and homes. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has visited Kyiv, meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to discuss an extension of the grain deal agreed with Russia, which allowed it to resume sea-bound agricultural exports. He also used the visit to criticize Russia's invasion.
This is my 3rd visit to Ukraine in less than a year. My 3rd visit to show our full commitment and to help seek solutions. The position of the United Nations, which I have consistently expressed, is crystal clear. Russia's invasion of Ukraine is a violation of UN Charter and international law. The sovereignty, independence, unity and territorial integrity of Ukraine must be upheld within its internationally recognized border.
Kyiv was unable to export grain after the war began due to a naval blockade. After long negotiations mediated by the UN and Turkey, Russia agreed in July 2022 to ensure the safety of large ships carrying agricultural products. However, the deal expires on the 18th of March. Every Sunday, Marian is surrounded by fellow Venezuelans, far from her home country. She arrived in Madrid 6 years ago and contacted the Kickball team, a sport that's a mixture of football and baseball.
La mayoría de las integrantes pues siempre ha estado ahí para apoyarte, para ayudarte en lo que necesites y siempre están disponibles o sea, ha sido una ayuda a estar más tranquilo y a no sentirte sola fuera de un país que no es el tuyo.
It developed in Venezuela in the middle of the last century, and it's exclusively played by women.
Los hombres, los chicos, jugaban baloncesto y fútbol y las chicas al kickball porque lo fueron introduciendo de esa manera, porque era jugado en las petroleras, mientras los hombres trabajaban en las plataformas petrolíferas, pues las mujeres jugaban kickball para distraerse.
La situación política en Venezuela favorece la expansión del kickball. Las mujeres que salen de su territorio debido a lo que están viviendo allí se encuentran en otros países gracias a la práctica de este deporte.
By little, more women of other nationalities are taking up kickball. It acts as a great tool for integration. Today is a friendly match in preparation for a championship. It's the first time some women have been here.
Compartimos valores como el respeto, la comunicación, la amistad, el trabajo en equipo, pues sería de más femenino y pues se entiende mejor de mujer a mujer.
On International Women's Day, all of these players have one main demand.
Un espacio que de seguro lo vamos a cuidar, vamos a usarlo para un buen fin, que es el deporte, la integración de la mujer en la sociedad, no solo en el trabajo, en varios ámbitos, sino en el deporte. Entonces, queremos espacios, más que todo para desarrollar nuestra actividad.
This unique sport, only played by women, is increasing bridges between cultures and people of all ages. This year, Ukraine is the focus of the cartoon movie co-production forum for full-length animated films, which takes place in Bordeaux this week. One of the more significant events for the forum and Ukrainian animation in general is Mavka, The Forest Song. It was conceived at the forum in 2017 and is now ready for its worldwide theatrical release.
Thanks to cartoon movie, like a couple of years ago, we received lots of international partners and the recognition as well for the film. So I believe and I hope that this film will be an international success as well, because it shows also a lot about our culture and help you to learn how it is here. All the backgrounds and locations were basically inspired by the real location in Ukraine.
The film had its world premiere in Kyiv on the 3rd of March and broke all box office records, even beating Avatar's figures. 200,000 people have already seen the film in Ukraine. A feat in wartime, even if the industry as a whole is suffering in the country.
First of all, it's about the lack of financing. Basically, we lost it last year. All the governmental financing went to the army needs. And right now also lots of cultural representatives went also to fight on the front line. Some of them unfortunately died, so on, but still majority of people keep creating content to keep our culture breathing. So in a way, Ukrainian culture is in your hands. I mean, in the hands of Europe and the world to support it.
You have made the same mistake.
This film is a love story filled with mystery and fantastic creatures where the forces of good and evil will clash. It's being released throughout Europe this spring and soon all over the world. At a time of such grave difficulties at home, The Forest Song carries the colours of Ukraine high.